Hi everyone, I'm having trouble with landscape and my phone and how it turns out. So I am doing portrait these days, but at least it's not gonna be the tiny little screen. I'm working with YouTube video, a YouTube studio for my long form ones because I seem to have problem with CapCut and my long form ones. So I am trying to make my videos better. But I am having trouble also with my camera. I just tried to do landscape, filmed the whole thing, and it came out sideways, so that doesn't really work too well. I am walking along Platte River here in Brighton, Colorado. Actually, I got a little bit away from it, but I'm kind of there. And I want to talk today about becoming a new person and how that's going to help me to maintain my weight. That's helped me to continue to lose weight. I don't know what I will weigh tomorrow when I publish this, but most likely it'll be 194 and there'll be 124 pounds lost. If not, I will pop a little something somewhere so you will know. And so as I was like toggling on it today, and a pretty good chance of getting it to go down, but we will see. In fact, I think I'll just put it in my title, and then you'll know. That way I don't have to worry with CapCut on a long form. So, becoming a new person. Here's the thing. My health coach asked me, I think it was yesterday or the day before, what foods do you no longer enjoy eating that you used to really enjoy, the junk food variety? And I said, well, I don't enjoy fast food so much anymore. Don't really eat it hardly at all. I mean, occasionally an In-N-Out burger, like once every 6 months or something, can be nice without the cheese, because it's not real cheese. And I like mine more just ketchup and mustard on it. Anyway, but I might still like fries. It sounds like something I might like, but for the most part, I don't really like that. I don't care for Taco Bell. I don't care for, most fast food is like, yuck, it doesn't taste that great. And he goes, well, yeah, okay, but you probably didn't gain a lot of your weight that way because you probably didn't go that often. I was like, that's true, because I cook at home most of the time. But at home, I still like bread, I still like cheese. I have to be very careful with that because I can overeat on that. But there were all kinds of pastries that I enjoyed, and I don't have the taste for quite so many of those things anymore. I don't crave them as much anymore. I mean, you get me a good all butter croissant at a fine bakery, I would like to try it. But a lot of the things that aren't super fine pastries, I don't really want. I don't, like, oh, I wish I could make my own Danish. I wish I could, whatever it is. Not so much. No. And when I have like cake for birthday parties and things like that, I don't eat that much of it. And I love the taste of it, but I won't eat that much of it. I just don't have a taste for it so much anymore. And yeah. There are many other things that I don't really care for. Most chips, except little tortilla chips. Once in a while, on a cheat meal, I'll allow myself that if it's some party or something, a cracker if it's at a party or something like that. But a few and I'm good to go. And let me pause this a minute. Okay, it won't let me pause. Anyway, not sure what's going on. Anyway, so I don't have quite the taste for more junk type food that I used to have. I've been enjoying about 90%, maybe more sometimes, whole and minimally processed foods. And, fruit, vegetables, chicken, lean beef, cod, occasionally salmon, some scallops, some shrimp, cottage cheese, usually 2%, and I love Good Culture, but you pick the one you like. That one just has you know, it doesn't have some of the questionable ingredients in it, so I like that. Um, although there's some others that are okay too. Um, Valle Greek yogurt. Sometimes I have the flavored ones, and they have some, you know, starches and some sugars in it. But you know, I seem to do well with it. You know, I have eggs. I use real butter or coconut oil or olive oil. I don't use canola oil, vegetable oil, that kind of thing. I have sometimes I have some sourdough bread. Sometimes I have plantain chips. Sometimes I have, which I would be. It's not an ultra processed food, but I wouldn't call it quite minimally processed. But you know, it's not too bad. One's made with palm oil, and sometimes I find sweet potato works really well for me. You know, there's tons of fruit, especially juicy fruit. Love myself some candy grapes. Things like that are just super part of my diet. But anyway, I feel vibrant. I feel energetic. I don't have the digestive issues. And you know, I don't feel like cheating. I mean, once in a while I like to have something different, but I'm not like all the time, oh, I wish I could have this. Oh, I wish I could have that. If I, you know, am getting a little too hungry and not allowing myself to kind of try to make get a scale result, I can then sometimes feel like I would like a cheat. So I have to be careful, make sure I get enough, not too much. I track, obviously, but yeah, I become a new person because I have different taste buds now. But I know that I can go back the other direction and start having a taste for the other things if I don't watch it. So certain things don't come into my house. Certain things I know it's going to have to be a small amount. You know, it's like restriction versus deficit. Restriction is, okay, I'm having a cheat meal. I'm not going to eat everything that's on, you know, the plate. You know, if it's at a restaurant, I'm going to serve myself a small amount of tortilla chips. I'm going to, you know, whatever the thing is. I'm going to have, you know, just a few bites of this dessert. I'm going to have, you know, whatever it is, if it's not a whole or minimally processed food, or if it's one that, you know, I should be careful of because I can eat too much of it. But most of, I mean, in a way, I mean, bread is kind of not really a minimally processed food, but it can be a decent one for if you have the right kind of, just a few ingredients kind of variety. But still, for me, it can get out of hand. Cheese is probably more of a process, but sort of minimally processed. It's something I can overdo. So, you know, I'm not saying there aren't some whole foods that can't be overdone, because I have found them. But it's knowing where my limits are. It's knowing to keep going with the diet I enjoy. And yes, of course, I have a cheat meal, as I've just said. And sometimes I have a little bit more starches of the whole and minimally processed variety, or just processed but not ultra processed, like, you know, a pasta with only a few ingredients, or, you know, a sourdough bread with only a few ingredients, that kind of thing, right? But yes, I'm careful, and I know that if I go back the other direction, I'm not going to keep the weight off. In fact, if I go back now, I'm not going to get the rest of the weight off. And, you know, I don't lose weight as fast as I used to, because I don't weigh near as much as I used to. But I still, you know, have, like I said, I would go more in the, go with the body fat percentage that's healthy. But, you know, I'm going to guess maybe 35 pounds more, and I'll be, you know, in a good spot. So I can, you know, still have some decent weeks, but I'm probably not going to have big, huge losses like I used to, at least not very often. I've only once in a blue moon would I have, and not even that huge, but, you know, a little bit better losses. Maybe occasionally something would work out that way, but I'm fine with a, you know, 1, 2, occasionally 3 pounds a week. That's fine. I'm good with it. You know, if I just keep consistent by summer, sometime in the summer, I am going to be at my goal. I will have a decent body fat percentage. I'll weigh something that's of a healthy weight range, and I'll be good. And but yes, the big thing is I have changed my thinking, and I've become a new person who knows I need to eat predominantly whole and minimally processed foods. And that's my life, because I don't want to be a person who has limited mobility like I had when I first started losing weight this time. It was starting to get scary, and I mean, I'm older, but I'm not old enough to really be that immobile. Now I can do some things that I couldn't do 20 years ago because I've lightened up. I walk enough. I'm not talking about, I don't walk 10 miles every day by any stretch of imagination. That would, my body would adapt to that. So that's a once in a while thing. But you know, I go lift weights. I'm stronger. Still have a long ways to go on that, but stronger. I have more stability in my legs. Can go upstairs so much better. So many more things. I like it. I like the new person I've become. I am not stuck on having to have those processed foods that aren't so good, the ultra processed foods, foods that I can eat too much of that are even on the healthier side. And yeah, so that's my motivation for anybody who's still struggling to lose weight. Find foods you like. I promise your taste buds will change. You will start to prefer whole and minimally processed foods if you choose that route. That is being in a calorie deficit and feeling satisfied versus restricting on your processed and ultra processed foods for the most part, or ones that your whole and minimally processed foods that you tend to eat too much of. I know I have those. I cannot be unique in that respect. And that way you're satisfied. You're not like, I'm trying to keep it down because I just have to have these foods. Well, you can have them once in a while, right? But having your mindset change, new creature, that's what it's all about. Have a good day.